to the question of when will this awakening happen to me? I've been doing this for 20 years. So now the questioner is looking at the past. Now there's a leaning into the past. There's a whole story behind. I've gone to so many retreats and I've read so many books and I've been meditating for 20 years and I still am not awakened. So there's frustration there. So let's look at the frustration in more detail. So I'm going to tell a story and I'm going to use an analogy, but I can't stress this enough that awakening is not something special. It's not reserved for special people. It's not something that you need to earn. And it's not a privileged thing that a few people can only get if they're special. So I want to stress that. The point of the story is to evoke an emotion. So the story that I'm going to tell is not real. It's not true, but it's the emotion that I'm trying to evoke. So imagine that you are at the airport and you have all of your luggage with you. Now this is really, really valuable luggage to you. You've been saving up your money your whole life for this really beautiful luggage. And you have all of your valuable possessions in there. It means a lot to you, and you're filled with luggage. And as you're moving and you're by yourself with all of that luggage, you're heading towards a lounge. And imagine that this awakening lounge, it's like those VIP executive lounges that you can go into only if you've earned the privilege and you've always wanted to go into this lounge. Now, this lounge is very secretive. So you've never seen pictures of it. You've never been in there. You don't know what's inside this lounge, but you've heard from people that have been there or that are there, and you just want to go. And you've been wanting for 20 years to try to get into this lounge. So you finally go up to the lounge and you know all the different information about the lounge and all of that. So you get there and there's 2 security guards standing in front of the door and you want to go in. And you tell them you know all about the lounge and you'd like to go in. And they say, well, I'm sorry, but you can't come in with all this luggage. You're just going to have to leave it behind. But I can't. I've spent all my life gathering all this luggage. It means so much to me. It's so valuable. Yeah, sorry, those are the rules of the lounge. You can't come in with all this luggage. And I'm sure there's a lot of frustration and a lot of fear that's going to come up with that. The frustration of having to leave all of this that you value so much. And then also there's the unknown. What if I need this stuff in there? What resources are available there? Because you know that once you go through that door, you will never see that luggage again. Now, in the general says there's no luggage, there's nothing to lose, but in this analogy, that's what it feels like. You'll never see that luggage again. And you'll never be able to come back once you've gone through that door. So as you sit back and you look at your frustration and you look at where the tension is regarding your awakening journey, you need to ask yourself, what is the underlying emotion? What is the underlying feeling to your frustration? So if the frustration or the resistance, if the resistance is related in frustration, if it feels like there's a fighting, that you're trying to get something, but there's like a wall. If that's the underlying feeling, frustration, then most likely you are arguing with the security guards to get in with your luggage. That's what it is. The struggle for awakening is that there is a part of you that is arguing with the universe to allow you to awaken, but you still want to keep all your stuff. You want to keep some sense of identity. You want to keep the thoughts that you have. You want to keep the stuff that you've learned about awakening. You're arguing with the universe. You're arguing with the security guards. Now, if the resistance or the difficulty in letting go is fear-based. Now that's another thing. That is, you're standing there in the airport looking at your luggage, and you have resolved the I acknowledge I'm not going to resist anymore. I agree with the security guards. I can't bring this stuff. And you're standing there looking at the luggage, ready to let go of it and walk through that door, and you're afraid. You're afraid because you've had this luggage all your life and you don't know how to function without it. Who are you without this? Who are you without all of this? When I let go of this, what is left? And then there's fear. Fear of the unknown. So in this analogy, you have an opportunity to look at where in these two examples your resistance is. And you're confronting it in the moment now. What is coming up for you right now? And that's a beautiful, beautiful place to start. So look inside for yourself and see where the resistance is pointing you to. What is the resistance asking you to see?